I'm Mackenzie O'Keefe in the CBS in Denver studio, and if you're feeling particularly stressed out about the election, you're not the only one. A survey done on behalf of the American Psychological Association found more than 2/3 of Americans say the election is a significant source of stress. So joining me now is CBS4 medical editor Dr. Dave Nida. And Dr. Dave, what do you think, or why do you think so many people are stressed out about this?
Well, I think one way to sum it up is to say it's 2020. You know, if you look at the overall year, it seems like nothing is in sync. I mean, we've got COVID going on. We have had civil unrest. We have had wildfires. And then you throw in a contentious election on top of it, and it's enough to make you feel like you are really struggling with your mental health. And this is probably the most contentious election we have had in 160 years, according to historians dating all the way back to Lincoln. And so, you know, you kind of take a look at how you fit into the societal picture here, because, you know, it almost feels like people don't look at you based on how you are as a person. It's almost, what are your politics? What are your political views? And that's how you're judged. You're not judged as a person this year. And then this even goes down to a more local level, local meaning your own family and your close friends. There can be issues there. I look at my own family. There's 4 siblings, and we're not getting along when it comes to politics this year. And that's really unfortunate. I feel like we're back in elementary school with the way things are going. I also take a look at politicians themselves and just the system of politics in the country. I mean, it's built, and it's worse this year than ever before when it comes to, you know, having fear thrown into just what we're dealing with. And then take a look at the fact that media contributes to it. We are being hit with, you know, a candidate's third cousin gets a sniffles, and we've got breaking news hitting us 24/7. And so we really are being inundated, and there's this great sense of uncertainty. And when we are feeling like we have no control over what's going on, is our vote going to count? How am I going to vote? When is this election going to be over? When is there going to be a result? When is it all going to be resolved? I think there are so many issues that are just making us so concerned and feeling so uneasy like never before.
Yeah, it's hard to be with people and not have politics come up these days, so certainly on the minds of everyone. This survey found adults with a chronic health condition are actually more likely to suffer from election stress. Is that something that surprises you?
Not really, you know, but what was interesting is the fact that it wasn't just people who had chronic underlying conditions who were feeling more stressed. It really was the vast majority of Americans are feeling it. Now, certainly for people with chronic health conditions, you know, we worry about things like, you know, their blood pressures are going up. People with diabetes, their blood sugars are going up. People are getting more and more headaches. People are getting more and more issues with arthritis. If you have an underlying issue with anxiety or depression or insomnia, all of those things are going to get worse in a situation like this. And you're going to really need to take care of yourself, as well as seeking help and making sure that those issues are being controlled and that you are being taken care of.
So here's the big question a lot of people are asking. What's your advice to people who are suffering from election anxiety? What can they do?
Well, I think the first thing to realize is what you've already said. You know, most people are having an issue. Recognize you are not alone. And, you know, the problem is we feel like we have no control over anything in our lives these days. So the key is to try to get some sort of sense that you are regaining control. And so how do you do that? And one of the things I like to think of is first off is limiting your exposure to information. You basically cannot, you know, overdose on news and Twitter and social media and everything else. You've got to, you know, you limit your screen time for your kids. You're going to have to do it for yourself as well. Limit just how much you're being bombarded with information. Number 2, make sure you are physically and mentally taking care of yourself, having quiet time, having some exercise, whether it be very strenuous exercise or just a simple walk. Make sure you've got a good support system. Make sure you have people who maybe you can get together with and you don't talk politics. It doesn't necessarily have to be getting together with people who are of similar beliefs as you are. And the other thing is to have a plan. And the plan means make sure you vote. And by voting, that means if you have not gotten your ballot in yet, that you plan on voting in person or getting it to a drop box, make sure your vote means something this year. Vote, get it done, get in control, have a say over how things are winding up being determined here in our future. And I think the other thing to recognize is the fact that, despite the fact that it is a very contentious time, I've got a lot of hope in the fact that our country is a strong country. It's a good country. There is hopefulness, despite all the fact that things are not looking very good right now. I think when all is said and done, just because we are Americans, this will turn out just fine.
Some great advice. Thank you so much, Dr. Day, for joining us. We'll be right back.